What if I told you that true strength isn't about power, wealth, or dominance, but about something far deeper? What if real strength is the ability to remain unshaken, no matter what life throws your way? Most people think strength is about controlling people, controlling outcomes, controlling every detail of life. But no matter how much you try, the world will always be unpredictable. You will face setbacks, betrayals, failures, and challenges beyond your control. So what makes the difference between those who break under pressure and those who remain steady? The answer is simple: inner peace. The ability to stay calm in chaos, to stand strong when everything around you is falling apart. The Stoics knew this well. Real power comes from within, not from external success or recognition. So, how do you develop this unshakable mindset? How do you cultivate the kind of strength that nothing can take away? Let's dive into the philosophy that has helped warriors, emperors, and great thinkers for centuries and learn how you can master true inner peace. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. Yet for most people, it remains an untamed force, controlling them instead of being controlled. Every thought you have shapes your reality, influencing your emotions, decisions, and ultimately your life. The ancient Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This simple yet profound idea holds the key to mental mastery. In life, external events are unpredictable. You will face rejection, failure, loss, and unfair circumstances. People will betray you, situations will not go as planned, and hardships will arise. If your sense of peace depends on the outside world, you will forever be at its mercy, tossed around like a leaf in the wind. However, if you learn to command your mind, no external force can shake you. It is not what happens to you that determines your experience, it is how you interpret and respond to it. Consider two people who lose their jobs on the same day. One spirals into self-doubt, feeling worthless and defeated. The other sees it as an opportunity to pivot, learn, and grow. The event is the same, but the response is different. Why? Because one person is controlled by their mind, while the other controls it. The difference is in perception. The Stoics called this the discipline of perception, the ability to see things objectively and choose a productive response rather than an emotional reaction. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, emphasized that suffering does not come from events but from our judgments about them. If you believe that failure defines you, it will. If you see obstacles as unbearable burdens, they will be. But if you train your mind to see setbacks as lessons, challenges as opportunities, and difficulties as training for resilience, you become unstoppable. The mind, when disciplined, becomes a fortress that no external force can break. Training the mind is not an overnight process. It requires daily practice. One of the most effective Stoic techniques for this is the dichotomy of control, a mental exercise where you separate what you can control from what you cannot. You cannot control how others treat you, but you can control your reaction. You cannot control whether you get the job, but you can control the effort you put into preparing for it. By shifting your focus entirely to what is within your power, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Another powerful method is negative visualization, where you mentally prepare for adversity before it happens. The Stoics practiced this to reduce fear and increase gratitude. Instead of fearing loss, they visualized what life would be like without their loved ones, their health, or their possessions. This practice doesn't make you pessimistic, it makes you appreciate what you have and strengthens you against future hardships. When challenges come, they don't catch you off guard. You have already trained your mind to face them with calmness and clarity. Mental mastery also involves controlling your emotions. This does not mean suppressing them, but understanding and directing them wisely. Anger, fear, and frustration are natural responses, but they should not dictate your actions. A Stoic does not let fleeting emotions control their decisions. Instead, they pause, reflect, and respond with reason. In modern life, this could mean not reacting impulsively to criticism, not allowing minor inconveniences to ruin your day, or choosing patience over frustration when dealing with difficult people. Ultimately, mastering your mind leads to an unshakable inner peace. The strongest person is not the one who dominates others, but the one who is not dominated by their own thoughts and emotions. This strength is available to anyone willing to put in the work. It is a choice, a practice, and a discipline. The world will always be unpredictable, but if you control your mind, you control your experience of it. And in that, you find true power. Life is full of challenges, obstacles, and unexpected events. Some days are smooth, while others bring frustration, disappointment, or even pain. Yet what truly affects us is not the event itself, but our reaction to it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." This idea is simple but profound. Our suffering is not caused by external circumstances, but by the way we interpret and react to them. Imagine two people stuck in heavy traffic. One is furious, honking, cursing, and letting frustration consume them. The other accepts the delay, stays calm, and perhaps uses the time to listen to an audiobook or reflect. The traffic is the same, but their experiences are completely different. This is because suffering arises not from the traffic itself, but from the mental resistance to it. The first person resents the situation, believing it should be different. The second person accepts it as it is, avoiding unnecessary suffering. This principle applies to all areas of life. When someone insults you, the words themselves hold no power. It is your reaction, whether you take offense, feel hurt, or become angry, that causes distress. If you choose not to be affected, the insult is meaningless. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, advised, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." This isn't about ignoring reality, but understanding that your emotional pain comes from within, not from the external event itself. Reactions are shaped by perception. If you see failure as a catastrophe, you will suffer. If you see it as a lesson, you will grow. If you interpret a breakup as proof that you are unworthy, you will feel broken. But if you see it as an opportunity for personal growth and a step towards someone more compatible, you will move forward with strength. The same event can either imprison you or set you free. It all depends on your reaction. The Stoics believed that we should train ourselves to observe our reactions instead of blindly following them. When anger, frustration, or sadness arises, pause and ask, "Is this reaction serving me? Is it within my control?" More often than not, reacting impulsively only makes situations worse. A negative comment, a bad day, or an unexpected setback doesn't have to control your mood or dictate your actions. By mastering your response, you take back control of your life. This does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending that pain does not exist. Rather, it means acknowledging feelings but not letting them dominate you. You can feel disappointment without falling into despair. You can recognize frustration without lashing out. You can experience fear without being paralyzed by it. By detaching from automatic emotional reactions, you gain clarity, peace, and resilience. True freedom comes not from changing external events, but from changing your reaction to them. When you understand that suffering is optional, you gain a power that cannot be taken away. The world may challenge you, but how you respond is always your choice. Life is full of uncertainty. No matter how much we plan or prepare, things often unfold in ways we never expected. Some people waste their energy worrying about everything, what others think of them, whether they will succeed, or if the world will be fair. But the truth is, not everything is within our control. The Stoics understood this deeply, and one of their core teachings is simple yet life-changing. Focus only on what you can control, and let go of everything else. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught the dichotomy of control, the idea that life is divided into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot. Our actions, thoughts, and choices belong to the first category. Everything else, other people's opinions, external events, or even the outcome of our efforts, falls into the second. The key to peace is learning to direct our energy only toward what is within our power. Think about the frustration that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you prepare for it. You can't control whether someone likes you, but you can control how you present yourself. You can't control if a business opportunity works out, but you can control how much effort you put in. When you waste energy worrying about things beyond your influence, you create unnecessary stress and suffering. But when you shift your focus to your own actions and mindset, you regain power over your life. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, lived by this principle even in the midst of war and political turmoil. He faced betrayal, loss, and constant pressure, yet he remained calm and rational. He reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." No matter what happened around him, he knew that his response was always within his control. This is the essence of true resilience. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means accepting reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. Many people resist this idea, believing that if they stop worrying, they will become passive. But the opposite is true. When you stop wasting energy on things beyond your control, you have more focus and strength to improve the things that truly matter. You become more disciplined, more effective, and more at peace. One way to practice this mindset is to regularly ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, let it go. With time, this practice becomes second nature, and you begin to experience a deep sense of freedom. Life will always be unpredictable, and challenges will come. But by focusing only on what you can control and letting go of the rest, you become unshakable. This is not just a Stoic philosophy, it is a way of life that leads to strength, clarity, and lasting peace. Emotions are a natural part of being human. They can be powerful, overwhelming, and sometimes even destructive. Fear, anger, sadness, and frustration often cloud our judgment, leading us to act impulsively. The Stoics understood that while emotions are inevitable, they should never dictate our actions. Instead, we must train ourselves to detach from emotions and act with reason. This is the path to true inner strength and wisdom. Imagine a situation where someone insults you. Your immediate reaction might be anger, a desire to retaliate, or feelings of hurt. But if you pause and step back, you realize that the insult itself has no real power, it only affects you if you allow it to. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." In other words, you have a choice. You can let your emotions take over, or you can respond with reason and control. Detaching from emotion does not mean suppressing it. The Stoics did not believe in becoming emotionless robots. Instead, they taught that we should observe our emotions without being ruled by them. When anger arises, recognize it, but don't let it dictate your response. When fear appears, acknowledge it, but don't allow it to stop you from taking action. This practice creates a sense of mastery over the self. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, advised that whenever we feel overwhelmed by emotions, we should take a step back before acting. He compared emotions to storms. If we react immediately, we are like ships caught in violent waves, tossed around uncontrollably. But if we wait, observe, and think, the storm eventually settles, and we can navigate with clarity. A practical way to apply this is the pause method. When emotions arise, take a deep breath, wait, and ask yourself, what is the rational response here? This small habit can prevent countless regrets caused by acting impulsively. Emotional detachment also helps in decision-making. Many people make choices based on temporary emotions, only to regret them later. They quit a job out of frustration, end relationships in anger, or make financial decisions out of fear. But true wisdom comes from decisions rooted in reason, not fleeting emotions. By stepping back and evaluating situations objectively, we gain clarity and make better choices for our long-term well-being. One of the most powerful Stoic exercises to cultivate emotional detachment is viewing situations from a distance. Imagine you are an outsider looking at your own life. How would a wise person see the situation? Would they react in anger, or would they remain calm and composed? This perspective shift allows you to break free from emotional traps and act with wisdom. Mastering emotions is not about eliminating them, but learning to control them instead of letting them control you. When you detach from emotion and act with reason, you become unshakable. You handle challenges with clarity, make wiser decisions, and live a life of true inner peace and strength. Mastering the mind is not something that happens overnight. Just like building physical strength requires consistent training, mental discipline requires daily practice. The Stoics understood that the quality of our lives depends on the quality of our thoughts. If the mind is left unchecked, it becomes weak, easily distracted, and reactive. But if it is trained with discipline, it becomes sharp, focused, and unshakable. The key to this transformation lies in daily mental exercises and habits that strengthen the mind over time. One of the most powerful ways to discipline the mind is through morning reflection. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, would start his day by preparing his mind for challenges. He reminded himself that people would be selfish, rude, or ignorant, but he would not allow their behavior to affect his own. By setting this mental expectation, he trained himself to stay calm and composed throughout the day. You can apply this practice by taking a few minutes each morning to reflect on your priorities, mentally prepare for possible obstacles, and remind yourself that your response to events is always within your control. Another crucial practice is deliberate discomfort. Most people seek comfort, avoiding anything that feels difficult or unpleasant. But the Stoics believed that exposing yourself to small challenges strengthens the mind. Seneca practiced sleeping on the floor occasionally to remind himself that luxury is not a necessity. Modern versions of this practice include taking cold showers, fasting, or voluntarily engaging in difficult tasks. When you regularly challenge yourself in controlled ways, you become mentally stronger and more resilient to life's unexpected hardships. Journaling is another daily exercise that sharpens the mind. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, wrote in journals to reflect on their thoughts, actions, and emotions. This practice helps you identify patterns, recognize weaknesses, and improve self-awareness. Writing down your thoughts at the end of the day allows you to assess whether you acted with reason or emotion, whether you stayed focused on what you can control, and what lessons you can take forward. This process helps refine the mind, making you more intentional in your thoughts and actions. Practicing mindfulness and presence is also essential. The mind constantly wanders, dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. But the Stoics emphasized the importance of being fully present in the moment. Epictetus advised, "Don't let the future trouble you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same reason you apply now." Training your mind to focus on the present reduces anxiety and increases clarity. Simple practices like deep breathing, meditation, or consciously engaging in daily tasks can help strengthen this habit. Ultimately, mental discipline is a daily effort. It requires constant practice, reflection, and self-correction. Just as an athlete trains every day to stay strong, the mind must be trained every day to stay sharp. Over time, these small efforts accumulate, transforming you into someone who is not easily shaken by life's challenges. A disciplined mind is a powerful mind, and with daily training, it becomes your greatest asset in life. True strength is not found in physical power, wealth, or dominance over others. It is not about winning arguments, intimidating people, or controlling external circumstances. Real strength comes from within, from the ability to remain calm and unshaken, no matter what life throws your way. This kind of strength is called inner peace, and it is one of the highest virtues in Stoic philosophy. Many people associate strength with aggression, or the ability to overpower others. But a person who is easily angered, constantly reactive, or emotionally unstable is not strong. They are weak, because they are controlled by external forces. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor, understood this well. Despite ruling over an empire and commanding armies, he believed that true power came from mastering one's mind. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The ability to stay composed under pressure, to control your emotions rather than being controlled by them, is what separates the strong from the weak. Life is unpredictable. People will betray you, plans will fail, and hardships will come. A person who relies on external validation or material success for their sense of peace will always live in fear. But someone who cultivates inner peace remains steady, because their foundation is within, not outside of them. Inner peace is not about escaping reality or avoiding challenges. It is about facing life head-on with a calm and steady mind. The Stoics taught that peace is found through acceptance, the ability to embrace whatever happens without resistance. This does not mean giving up or being passive. Instead, it means recognizing what is within your control and letting go of what is not. When you accept that the world will not always work in your favor, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. One of the biggest obstacles to inner peace is emotional reactivity. Most people allow their emotions to dictate their actions. Anger makes them lash out, fear makes them hesitate, and frustration makes them give up. But the Stoics believed that emotions should be observed, not obeyed. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, advised we suffer more in imagination than in reality. This means that most of our distress comes from our own minds, our exaggerated fears, unnecessary worries, and emotional overreactions. The truly strong person learns to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Developing inner peace requires daily practice. One way to strengthen it is through negative visualization, mentally preparing for difficulties before they happen. The Stoics practiced imagining worst-case scenarios, not to be pessimistic, but to become mentally resilient. When challenges arise, they are not caught off guard and they remain steady. Another key practice is mindfulness, staying present in the moment instead of being consumed by past regrets or future anxieties. Epictetus advised, keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern, and be clear that what belongs to others is their business and none of yours. Focusing only on what you can control and releasing everything else brings an unshakable sense of peace. At its core, true strength is the ability to remain undisturbed. It is the power to walk through life with a clear mind, unburdened by unnecessary stress or emotional chaos. It is the wisdom to accept life as it is and to act with reason rather than impulse. When you cultivate this strength, no setback, insult, or hardship can truly harm you. The world may test you, but your peace will remain intact. This is the kind of strength that cannot be taken away, and it is the greatest power you can ever possess.